Good morning, this is Big Mama. I'm doing my video for the Dear Julie Julie April Anything Goes Junk Journal Challenge. And what Julie's challenge was this month is that anything goes. We can use all of our supplies. The requirements are to do things from A to Z. And so we were to come up with elements for our journal that were to go in those categories using descriptive words, whether it was nouns, pronouns, I don't know what all those things are, but I know how to say them. Adjectives. I described it the best I could under that alphabet. And we could get creative, which I might have gone a little bit over the edge on my creative words, such as my word for the letter S was split personality journaling card, because it was a hidden journaling card and the girl on the front of my card kind of had to come apart, so she split. And so I thought, well, that'll work for the letter S. I'm not going to throw her in the trash, so she worked just fine there. I couldn't come up with the letter K, and I had a clear pocket, and so I looked really quick through my dictionary. I have a really fat dictionary, and in that dictionary, as I was looking under clear, there was also talking about clear-sighted or keen-sighted. Okay, so I have a clear pocket that is a keen-sighted pocket. So if you're struggling with your ABCs, there's a dictionary thing that really works. I did 3 signatures and used 2 of her digitals, which was a requirement that we use some pages from her digitals. And so the VIP, which is a very important party, I think, because I don't think I'm an important person. Anyway, what we do is if we accomplish getting the challenge done within the month, then we are invited to a virtual internet party the next month. And in that party, we also get digitals. And so she debuts her new kit, and the new kit that she had was Welcome Spring. So I used that kit in this, and I also used, I have it written down here because my memory ain't so good. So I did the ladies in hats, because I thought with the spring flowers and then the Victorian women with their beautiful hats all seemed to go together really well. So that was my mind in a normal planning stage, and then I start getting all the paper out in front of me and start getting the stuff going, and normal goes out the window. So as you know, if you've been watching any of my videos, Big Mama ain't no normal woman. So here we go. I'm gonna show you my girl, and I haven't named her because the digital for the spring, Welcome Spring, has got a lot of roses, but I did a lot of gilding, and so I kind of gilded the lily. And so I thought about naming her Lily because of that. And so then, well, maybe Lily Rose. So here's Lily Rose. This is how I did the front. This is a picture that is from her digitals of the ladies in hats. And let me see if I can bring that up here a little bit closer for you. And what I did was I had the little middle frame. It was a brooch, and so I put her in there, and I also covered it with the glossy accents to make it look like it has got a little bit of a glass front. And old doily, then I put the ribbon, because I know with the Victorian things they like a lot of ribbon, and I get really crazy about that Victorian stuff. I started, and then it's like I'm down that rabbit hole. And so then I found this upholstery. Somebody gave me a book of upholstery scraps that they were going to throw away, and so I got that, and that, well, that goes really pretty with the digital. And then I took a old button and sewed it on the edge. And then last month on one of my journals, I had done the bow, and I kind of liked doing that, and because it was so easy, then you just bring it up and over, kind of like a hitch post button. And so I had this wonderful doily and some old lace And so that's how I did the outside. And now let's do some little traveling on the inside. So I used this beautiful doily that was rectangular in shape, and so I put it down. Well, this is just not gonna work, girls, is it? Or girls and guys, I'll let you all in. But I'll try and be visible as much as possible so you can read my lips in case you can't hear me. This is the digital. Isn't that gorgeous? I think she did a really wonderful job. I tore some paper. I had mentioned before about my printer doesn't print borderless, and so I end up with a white border, but I don't want to cut it and lose that dimension. See, dictionary. I need a dictionary. I can't come up with my words. So you'll see me searching for them all over the place, and I don't have old Webster over here whispering in my ear. So I also, Kathleen Moyer, doggone that girl. She had to go and do a video about putting some gilding on a page. And I thought, I have gilding flakes that I never used. Why don't I go for it? Well, I did. I did a lot. And so I thought, oh, I like that along the edge. So I gilded the lily. I put this edge that's got, I wanted to bring it kind of in with the lace. And so I added the gesso on the edge. Well, gesso has got kind of that really matte finish, almost a chalky look to it if you don't do anything on top of it. And Bonnie Lipke, my sweet Bonnie, she kind of has challenged me to not do so much inking. And I am a grungy, inky kind of girl. Everything's got to be inked up. And so instead of inking, I gessoed. So there you go, Bonnie, no ink here. And so I did that. I did the gilding. And so then I also printed her digital on the front and back. And so then I had the space here. Don't you love that brittle? And so I've got space here where you can journal. Then I use the old ledger. And, oh, good golly. This is not easy holding this up here. I'm glad I have a ledge here that God gave me. He is so generous. And so then we are also, did I just say that? Yeah, you know, I'm not going to edit it out. I am so sorry if that offended anybody. Please, I do not mean to be rude, crude, and obnoxious, but there's a whole lot in me that I try to keep in the very back in the dark space, but I try to get rid of it. But there you go, on the ledge. Oh, Lordy. Okay, so we were supposed to, maybe I should just start over. Nope, you're getting this one. Here. Okay, mini challenge in the challenge, 4.1. We were supposed to do a magnetic closure. And so I had a little itty bitty one. And so it, boop, there you go. I finished that challenge, got that one done. And so then I used my washi, which was under the W. And I got my music paper. And then here what I did, I had showed where I like to do the 2 pages together in other videos instead of trying to figure out how to run those papers the wrong way, because I like the lines to be, for me, normal. But some people will turn the page and have the lines like this to write on, and that just don't work for Big Mama. So what I did was I added what I call a Franken page. This is a napkin. I took it, ironed it on tracing paper using the Wonder Under, and then I trimmed out the edge here where the 2 pieces came together. I trimmed it out with the ribbon and then put the lace on the edge. And so then the back is the tracing paper for you to write on. And so it just made a pretty page on the other side. The other side here where you can glue photo or whatever. Some people may write on that. And that's fabulous. This I just have struggle with it because I'm really funny about my pens, and if the ink bleeds and all of that stuff, I'm just I'm just I got my issues, and I don't find support groups to deal with all of my issues. So I just avoid things that will cause me drama. And writing on that would cause me drama, but I would have no problem at all gluing a picture on there. So there you go. And then write the story about the picture. I have no problem writing here in between the musical notes, but I would struggle writing on them. There you go. I don't know if there's a psychiatrist out there to help me, but that's the issue in case you want to do your thesis on Big Mama. And I left the page actually blank because, like I said, Bonnie has challenged me, so I didn't ink it or anything. I just left that blank. This is my pocket. That is an envelope pocket, and then I have in here, this has, paper in it for you to write on, because for me, it's a journal. And journals are all about what can you write. And I call these legacy letters because I think that it's really important for you to think about writing to somebody that you'll never see. So for me, I would write to my granddaughter's child because I'm sure I'm going to be gone before that one gets here. And so I would write, to my dear, sweet grandbaby. These are some of the things that went on in my life, and kind of tell a little story and leave a little legacy letter. But anybody could get into it and read it, but I want to leave it special so that they know that even today I'm thinking about them in the future. Some more writing space here. This paper here, very brittle, but I found, I don't know if you know who Sarita is from Sarita Sells, but Sarita had done a tutorial about a year and a half ago where she had used the Wonder Under, and she had also used the butcher paper. And so this is actually the butcher paper, and I iron it to it, and it is like 100% fused on there. And so this is the matte side of the butcher paper, and the other side was the wax side. And beautiful, beautiful surface to write on. And we'll take, my calligraphy pens or anything and write beautifully on there. And that gave that paper, you can hear it, a wonderful strength, and I don't have to worry about it crumbling on me. And then I have that paper. Over here is her digital, and I did an altered paper clip was my A, and so I did 3 altered paper clips because there were 12 items that we were supposed to do 3 of. So my envelopes was a 3 of, and this was a miniature one. We were supposed to do 12 of them, and I am not going to remember all 12 of them. So as I go through here, I might kind of give a flash in my brain, go, oh, that was one of the 12, but don't count on it. The gilding, once again, thank you, Miss Kathleen. And I have more ledger paper. So these are the back sides of those front sides. You got that. Okay. And so then here, where I had the one mini challenge and challenge, this is the other side of it. And so I just made it to where it is a flip out. And this is where I love to make my tabs, not so much on the outside of the page, but on something like this. I think it's just really nice. And it lets the people know that, oh, this does open up. And then use my washi. And if you'll see a fold like that, it's because, I didn't fold it right the first time and decided, well, I'm not going to worry about it. So there you go. I didn't worry about it. Center. Oh, so I guess I put 2 in there, and that wasn't the back side. Did everybody say, oh, Big Mama made a mistake? Oh, no way. She would never do that. So here we go. Another of those. And then the gilding again. I don't know if you guys noticed the gilding, but I did a little bit of gilding. Kathleen, it's your fault. And so then here we go. Here we go. Okay. B is for belly band. And so I took a tea bag and I printed on the tea bag. And here is my little split personality lady right there. I'll show you how I printed the digitals, I had business card paper, and I printed them on there, and she was on 2. And I'm like, well, I won't use those. And then I'm like, I just might. She worked out really, really good there. So, yeah, she had to come apart. But since it is a hidden, you know, she hidden in there. Oh, upside down. That she having to come apart. Yeah, poor girl. She got a split personality. And then this may be too long. I haven't even got through the first signature, and you have had to listen to me. All right. So I did also for my challenge on the 12, I did miniatures. And so this is my miniature tag where you can write on it. And I have some washi sticker things, and so it had that on it, and thought, well, that'd be cool. And so it has the little word hope. But did you guys, here I go sticking that right back in there, and didn't really show you how when you print on the tea bag, how she just is very faint in there on that tea bag. And then I put the tea bag on the underneath side, stitched around the edge so that you had your pretty in there, but she's just very, very faint on there. The illusion of grandeur. And there is this one, some more of the music paper, and these are the ladies in the hats. I just love them. There you go. Some more writing space, ledger, and more gilding. And now, hey, second signature. All right, so flipping out here, and writing page. And I had gotten from my crafty stores, oh my gosh, well, I know it's Michelle Scott. I know it's Michelle. See, when you have things in your phone that all you have to do is boop, hit a button, you don't have to know what the whole thing is for. And I'm telling you what, anyway, she sells stuff. And she was selling some of this decoupage paper, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And then from, about 2 years ago, I had gotten some of this German scrap from Maddie at the Spectrum Art, and so I'd never ever used it because it's just way too pretty. And so, pretty. Either way, but when you say pretty, okay, let's just go there. When you say pretty, doesn't that sound like a cat just purring and so happy? So when you see something and it's just really pretty, I think it's okay to apply that word here, and this is really pretty. And so I had taken an envelope and I had put the napkin on it, and I was doing the front of it. And then when I did the back, I had picked up the wrong napkin and was working away. And when they stayed together in one piece, they did not complement each other. And you'll see when I get to the other side of this, because I put it all in here. But I thought, okay, I'll just have it come apart with it too. And we will make a writing source here also, because that's what we do with junk journaling. We make our mistakes look like they was on purpose. But that right there, that was oopsie. And there again is some of the ironed on butcher paper. Susan Taylor Brown had given me a bunch of, she was just cleaning out, destashing, and so in her stuff she had some of her paper and had the butterflies all in here. And so you need to go and check out Susan's store and get you some of her paper kits, because they're fabulous. And then I put the lace all around the edge, because I wanted, when you close this up, to just feel the lace spilling out. And so that's what I did there. And then I had an old drama or Dramatic, I think is the name. Dramatic Theater is the name of the magazine, like from 1906, that is really, really fragile. And so I took and kind of made washi out of some of the advertisement that was in it and put that on the edge. And that might not be the color scheme that you guys like, but for me, it really works with the pulling together, like the Victorian and all of that. It's in my mind, and I hope that it works for you. And then I did some rub-ons also on there. All right, back over here. Yeah, I can hear a bunch of my dear sweet friends saying, you need to just write all of this down where you got these things, and then you've got your list. I wrote 2 things down: Welcome Spring Kit and Ladies in Hats. I'm doing good. So here is some more of the gilding, and some more of my sweet ladies with their hats, like that. And washi on the edge. And then this was actually in a book that had been gutted. This was one of the pages that was a cover page. And so I just love that. Well, who wouldn't? To my mother. And so I'm sure that will inspire somebody to write something about Mama. Or maybe they're going to write something to Mama. But right there, to my mother. And Pretty Pink Butterfly. And those are all rub-ons. And then here I took on this one, put lace across on both sides and sewed that in. And then for my cue, I did a quote, and I love this quote that is by George Eliot, where she just does the best she can and lets it all settle down and let it all work out itself. And so I love that, because that is what we do as journalers, is we just give the very best we can. And when this lands in somebody's hands, this isn't about what Sandy made. This is about the stories that they put on the pages. And so it is a collaboration between me and the writer. But I hope that this legacy that is being left behind will be so fabulous that the beauty of the pages that I try to put in here are only there to inspire the writer to tell the family story. The stories that you hear when you're sitting around the table and nobody ever wrote them down, and now you're writing it from memory, and it may not be exact, but it is the very best that you can pass down to a next generation. Because if you don't write them down, those stories are going to be lost. And so I wrote that down there. That was Big Mama's handwriting. And so here is where I'm sure that this was a double tuck or something like that. But I also added, I was going to actually put an envelope here. This is an envelope where I cut it down the middle here, okay? This is actually, if you took these two together, this is where it was together, not here. And so I took the flap and put it inside and glued the flap down so that it has a little miniature pocket, but then you have the tuck here and the tuck here. And so I just covered that with napkin on there and on here, but you've got that little itty bitty pocket. So I got 2 tucks in a pocket. And so then those are my miniature, and here's another miniature. And then from that magazine I told you about, the drama magazine, Little Jack Horner. I love this. There you go, Little Jack Horner. He had a hunch. And so I thought, well, that's just pretty. And again, I liked using the black and white around it for that. And this was a digital. It may have been Artie Mae's, but it could have been on the public domain. you know, you get things, you print them out, you put them over in a folder to use later, and then you forget where you got it. Well, this was, I forgot where I got it, but I know that somebody has that out there. And it's not a Dear Julie Julie, but boy, I sure did love it. And put the butterfly on there and everything, make it all pretty pretty, because I thought the ladies in the hat, that it went really good with them. And I have this here, and what I did was with the ribbon, it is actually glued into the edge here to where it looks like it's closed, but I put it in the edge. And this was a sympathy card, but I didn't want to leave it as a sympathy card. So what I did was I covered where it said sympathy, I covered it with a book page, and then took one of the ladies from the digital and put her on there. And then on the inside, where this was actually from Ralph and Lillian, I don't know if you can see that that has come through here, but I made that all a journaling spot. And then you can also open this up and write on there and write on the back. So this is some serious journaling space, but it was really weird for me to put in here a sympathy card and just leave it as a sympathy card. So I got rid of their sympathy so you can write your own. And so put that in the pocket. So it is vintage. It is to Mr. and Mrs. Harvey Stats from Chapman, Kansas, back in 1954. All right, up we go. And some more of those blank pages to write your story, because that's where the beauty comes from. So here's some more of her ladies that are in here. And then over here I have just repurposed an envelope, and it's got one of the miniatures that's tucked in here, and one of my paper clips that I made. And the way I closed this, I had a earring that I bent over and taped down on the back side so that it wouldn't snag, and then just made it to where it pops up, and I folded a piece of paper in there so that they could write another legacy letter. And that's how that is closed. And put it in the paper clip. I know, I forget, I'm supposed to throw that over there in a pile and then come back to it later, so you won't have to be harassed. I do want to show you, in case you haven't seen other videos I do, where this is just a scrap. I have a box full of scraps of paper. And so I'll take those scraps and turn them into letters. And so you can see how tiny that is. And so then on the back side here, I've got the little butterfly for pretty. But then when this unfolds, you've got quite a lot of space to write, like your favorite quote, favorite Bible verse, a memory of a joke that Grandpa told at the table while you guys were eating turkey. The story about how Big Mama, when she was cutting the first duck that she ever roasted, and how it went flying across the room. Those, well, that one would be more of a couple of pages, because dead duck flies when Big Mama cooks it in the microwave. Don't cook a duck in the microwave. That's all I got to say. They are rubber duckies. All right, moving on. Come on, you can do this. There we go. All right, so as you can see, the front of that paper did not go so well with that pink napkin that I picked up by accident. So they do go really well separately. And so don't ever give up. Go through your trash, find those things that you got frustrated with, and say, now what would Big Mama do? Well, she would make you think that it was supposed to be that way. That's what Big Mama would do. Happy Little Accidents by Ross. Alrighty, here we go. So some more of that washi, some rub-on stickers. I got this here that I put in wonky on purpose, and there you go. Keep on going. You might get through. We did a second signature, and this is just a vintage writing space, a writing letter, but I thought that it went really pretty there. And this is my keen pocket. It's keen-sided because you can see clearly through it. All right. Now, the letter X. That's a little bit difficult. And so instead of coming up with the word that has an X in it, I just made an X. Ta-da! And so that's my X belly band. I have a little notebook that I made here. And so it goes behind the first one. And then I had a glassine bag that I decoupaged on it, the decoupage paper. Now, isn't that funny? I said the word and forgot it. Decoupage paper on the decoupaged envelope. And so it can go right there. Moving on, moving on. Don't want to bore you too much. I made this. And if I can say that there was one thing that when I made, I really liked making it, but after I made, I'm like, what were you thinking? This would be it. All the lines go that way. So this should go in this way, but it doesn't accommodate the width of my page very well. And so I came up with this is actually one of the library book card pockets. And so I put lace at the top and covered it with tea bag. Words are getting very, very rare now. Okay, so this is my tea bag lady. But when you go to put this in the pocket, I apologize for whoever gets this. If you don't really pay attention, you might have a hangover. And everybody knows that hangovers can give you a headache. And so I don't want to cause anybody a headache, so I'm just telling you ahead of time. There it is. And this again is some of that brittle paper, so I covered it in the back, ironed on that butcher paper. Got my Franken paper, and then I have now I don't even know what I did with them, the packet of cards that you can get at Walmart. Wait, I do know. If you'll give me just one brief. All right. So over, and I said Walmart, but this is Hobby Lobby. But you can get these note cards, and they have blank on one side, pretty. And I thought, oh, those are just perfect to slide in there at that last minute. What am I going to do? Because I want to get this done and get the video done. So, but here are some that you can get too. So I thought those were marvelous to go in here. And so this one had a lady that kind of went into Julie's kit style. And this again is a paper clip that I had done. And the way I did this, and somebody probably is doing it on the internet, I have seen so many people that do where the slow stitching with fabric and stuff. I had not seen anybody kind of do it to where they could hide the paper clip. I'm not saying I invented it, believe me, because I'm not an inventor. I'm just a doer. What can I do? So what I did was I took and wove the material over the big part and then down over and under again, and then that's where I did my stitching, so that this then is where my paper clip is, but it is covered on the front. And then I have all those lovely scraps that I don't throw away and just tied them here on the end to cover up that other metal end, and ran the lace out a little bit further over here on the end. So yeah, I will lay this over to the side instead of trying to get it back on the page. But not that it's difficult, but because I want to respect your time. Okay, so here's Gilded Page, and this page was nice and long, and so I made it to where it flips out like that to write on, and also have a tuck. And this is one of Julie's, she calls them her daddy's banking card, and so I think I may have put this under M for money. Money, money, money. And then here is my flip out with her lady, and I've got some lace on here and flipped it out. And then this was also one of her challenges, and so I have it where it turns, and then this pops out. Mini challenge and challenge, I should say. And then I have a card that goes inside there. And so the envelope then is on the edge, and yeah, I can't stick this over to the side, and turn that, and then flip it back down, and I put paper then over it. And then I decided, since I was flipping, might as well do something up here, so I did a little flip up here. But this one is where I took the paper and it comes out further. So this is where you want to expand upon your thought while you're writing upon the page. There might be something that you want to really get the point across. You could write it on that one. And then on this edge, I flipped it in and made it a tuck with my little card here. Over here is my hidden for H. I've got a hidden journaling space there. And then this was a Get Well card. And so what I did is I covered up the Get Well. And then on the inside here, I gave you some more journaling space that has a quote. And you know that you guys have to love the fact this is from Big Mama. And it says, one flew east and one flew west. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. And that is a children's folk rhyme that I like. Yeah, you can use the journaling space, and it also opens just like any greeting card to where you can journal on the inside. And you might want to write about your crazy uncle or your crazy mama, or the fact that you're crazy yourself. Some of those crazy moments, you put that in there. That'll be your crazy card. And get well soon. Oh, keep on going, Sandy. You're almost to the end. Some more of the washi Franken papers with some ribbons. And then here is another one of the pockets. And I have in here, kind of hard to do some of this upside down. Okay, so the way I close this, and again, this is not an original idea. I'm sure that I've seen several people who've done this, where they've used a ticket or something that has closed it off, and so then you've got a little card inside there that you can write on, and then this just closes it up. And so that is not thing I invented, but I thank you so much for those who do take the time to invent these things and then share them out, because I really need that. And I turned a couple of pages that were blank to get you to Z, because we are now at the end of our ABCs. And so I made a zipper pocket, and the zipper goes up and down, but I took an iron, whatever, that thing that you use, I think it's right there. I took that hot metal thing and I pressed that down so that it stayed that way, so that my little gal is well seen. And then she has my final miniature in her little pocket, which is again one of those letters that can be opened up and you can write a thought on. And it's just, I love those little treasures that we can put in there. I always think of these journals as like up in Grandma's attic, that trunk that you open up and then you find all of those layers of things. And then you'll find a little snippet of something over in the corner. And I think of those little letters as that little tiny treasure that Grandma didn't want to get rid of because it was a cherished moment for her. And I think that those are just really, really neat to put in here to represent that trunk up in the attic. And so then the last gilded page is in there. And I usually put tracing paper or something to protect these, and I apologize because I was rushing to get it done and I didn't do my traditional thing. And so anyway, you just got to see my Lily Rose, because she is quite the gilded lily. But she is such a beautiful flower garden. And I hope that you go over to Dear Julie Julie's shop over in Etsy and look at her kits, these beautiful ladies. She's got big full pages and down to the miniatures. And I'm talking itty bitty tiny little miniatures. And I printed them all. And I will eventually be using them, so you'll be seeing them in other journals. I do hope that you enjoyed this, and I am so sorry that I took up so much of your time. May you always have happy memories that you can put in your own journal. God bless you. Bye-bye.